There's growing evidence out there that this place is like a tinderbox. It's ready to virtually explode, and there's pockets of trouble going on all over the place. One of the most recent and most talked about ones is what's going on in Epping, and all of the locals coming out basically standing there and saying we've had enough. And you've got the mainstream media all over it, trying to paint a picture of it that isn't necessarily true. And as per usual, our Prime Minister comes out and says this: thugs, when in fact it's concerned residents wondering about the impact of these individuals on where they are, where they live, where their kids go to school. It's happening everywhere. We're getting more and more and more of them piling into this country on, well, you might as well call it an hourly basis. And you've got to put them somewhere. I mean, my answer and the government's answer are very far removed from each other, I can tell you that. But Starmer seems to think that there's a magic supply of housing which can be used to fulfil his dreams, fulfil his purposes. Listen to this.
What other accommodation precisely are you planning to take over to provide temporary accommodation for families?
Oh, there's lots of housing in many local authorities that can be used, and we're identifying where it can be used. But I mean, look.
Can you give us? Have you got any examples you can give us?
No, but I'll write in and give you details.
Because I could say certainly in a number of our local authorities, already picking up from around the table, there isn't a lot of spare housing available. If there were, councils would be able to be dealing with it by now.
Well, exactly.
Quite where he gets these figures from, and it's so obvious in that piece of footage there, he was caught out. But what this will do, this will give us an environment where there is literally no law and order within this country, and there will be a complete breakdown of social discipline, a lot further than it is already. You've got the politicians jumping on the bandwagon saying we're going to fix more prisons, we're going to mend the system and all the rest of it. Well, it's not that simple, is it? It's just a bandwagon to be jumped on, and there's no proper solutions. So where do we start? Well, let's have a look at the prisons. Namely, who's in the prisons? There's a load of people in there at the moment that are guilty of nothing more than just giving an opinion. Release them immediately. How many cells will that free up? There are an awful lot of people in our prisons who have come here from other places, other locations, wanting to make their home here, or just coming for the benefits that we can provide. The second that they betray our trust, betray our hospitality, whatever that may be, they should forfeit their right to be here. Empty them out of the prisons, send them back to where they came. If the countries they originate from don't want them or can't take them, then they need to be taken somewhere else. I hear St Helena's quite good at this time of year. It's got an airport in there. You could provide jobs for the local economy, dealing with them. I've probably just cured the prison system space shortage in about 60 seconds. It's not difficult if you think about it, but with this lefty, woke, idiotic lot that we have governing us, we're just slipping down the slope. But how do you prevent all this from happening in the first place? Well, we have to strip it back. We have to go back to the beginning. You see, everywhere we look, everywhere we go, there's hardly any police officers around anymore. And those that are on the streets, sometimes my youngest son looks older than they do. They look like they're just fresh out of school. It's ridiculous. You know, back in the day, police officers used to be hard. They used to have an aura of confidence and discipline about them. Don't mess with me, or you will find out the hard way. Where have they gone? And I think with the behaviour of the police, we'll say service, because that's the way it's behaving, should really be a police force. They've all forgotten their job. You know, whether you've got police officers, sergeants, inspectors, chief supers, whatever, they're all one thing at the end of the day, a constable. And I think they've all forgotten what the term constable means, what the job of a constable entails. They should look it up. And just to help at the end of this video, I'll put a link to a previous thing I did on what a constable is and what they should become again. Don't know if you've ever heard of broken windows. A lot of criminals start small scale. They use this in New York to great effect. You know, like nicking a lollipop out of a sweet shop or a tin of beans out of the grocery store. Just little things, breaking a window. Stomp on those and the big things will disappear. Zero tolerance, I think, is another area we have to go to, at least for the time being. No tolerance of anything, any crime. Stomp it out. Send a very clear message. We won't put up with it. And again, to make that happen, you need proper coppers like we had back in the day. Seldom seen anymore. There used to be a thing called the Ways and Means Act. Get the job done by any means necessary. Even if it means dropping a drunk 20 miles from home to get him to walk home and sober up. It doesn't waste the justice system. Teaches them a valuable lesson. Let the gloves off the constables when they remember what being one of them is. When somebody's arrested and charged, the CPS gets involved. I hate the CPS. I think the CPS is a lousy idea. They either need to sort their bloody act out or be disbanded. They're either letting people go who shouldn't be, or overly complicating the judicial process beyond where it should be. I've had personal experience recently where at least 2 cases I know of have taken about 2 to 3 years to go through the justice system. It's pathetic and it's wrong. Once that's dealt with, a full and complete review needs carrying out of what sentences are applied to what crimes and why. And when the sentence is delivered, is it appropriate? For example, smacking a police officer, a female police officer no less, in an international airport, should be met with a very harsh minimum sentence to deter people from doing it again. If you assault somebody in the street and cause grievous bodily harm, don't piss about. Harsh punishment encourages them not to do it again. And the other major problem we have is objects used to hurt other people is the cleanest way I'll put it. Stop and search needs bringing back. Very much so, very urgently. If anybody is suspected of carrying anything for which they intend to do harm on another, they need to be stopped, they need to be searched. If anything's found, arrested on the spot. Zero tolerance. And then in that kind of world where people start getting the idea and the crime starts reducing, maybe you can become a little bit more tolerant again. It's a bit like trying to train a naughty child. There are steps that we as natural born Englishmen and women can do as well. Remember the old adage, an Englishman's home is his castle, so's his country. This has got to stop, and only through talking, only through harsh reorganisation of what we've got and where it is, can this be dealt with. No more buzzwords, no more bullshit from politicians like Badenoch, Starmer, Farage and all the others, while they're sitting in their ivory towers saying what they think they could do or telling us what we want to hear. People's lives are forever changing. No more. See, I'm just a taxi driver. In the first 60 seconds of this video, I solved the prison shortage, and I laid out a very clear framework of how to put it right in the preceding minutes. What the hell do I know? I'm going to bring you some other videos too of different aspects of laws and other things we've probably forgotten. Give you a lot of food for thought. I think we all need it. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all your support. This video here is the one that I did about constables. have a look at that. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon.